Zero exponent. So we're going to learn today about the power of zero. We're going to start with a little investigation. So it says each of the following examples have been solved two different ways. So we're going to start with example number 1. So we have the question 5 to the power of 3 divided by 5 to the power of 3. And I'm going to answer this question first using exponent laws. So we learned that when you divide two powers with the same base, you can subtract their exponents. So if I take 5 to the power of 3 divided by 5 to the power of 3, I can subtract 3, take away 3, which gives me 5 to the power of 0. I'm going to try the same question, but I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to try actually evaluating it. So I'm going to work out 5 to the power of 3 and 5 to the power of 3 and then divide them. So I'm going to work out 5 to the power of 3, which is 125. So I get 125 divided by 125. Now, whenever you divide something by itself, the answer is always 1. So 125 divided by 125 is 1. We're going to look at example 2. So same thing. We're going to use exponent laws first. I have 2 to the power of 10 divided by 2 to the power of 10. So when you're dividing, if you have the same base, you can subtract the exponents. So I get 2 to the power of 10 minus 10, and 10 minus 10 is 0. So I get 2 to the power of 0. I'm going to try the same question a second time. This time I'm actually going to calculate. So 2 to the power of 10 is 1,024. So I get 1,024 divided by 1,024, which is just 1. So the question I would like you to consider is, what can you conclude about having something to the power of 0? So if I take a look at the first way we did it with exponent laws, I got 5 to the 0 and 2 to the 0. And then when I evaluated them, I noticed that I both got 1. So hopefully you noticed that when we raise something to the power of 0, we get an answer of 1. So any base, with the exception of 0, so any non-zero base to the power of 0 equals 1. Because in order to get a question that gives you an answer of 1 or has an answer of 2 to the power of 0, you have to be dividing the same number by itself. So we're going to try a couple of examples. So it says simplify each using exponent laws. So our first one, 6 to the power of 0. Now, anything to the power of 0, we just said is 1. So 6 to the power of 0 is 1. How about x to the power of 0? It doesn't really matter if it's a 6 or an x or a chicken. Anything to the power of 0 is 0. Nope, 1. Sorry about that. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Our next one, I have 6a in a bracket to the power of 0. That power of 0 is on the whole bracket, so the 6 and the a. So that whole thing is to the power of 0, so that whole thing just becomes a 1. Now, you'll notice the next question is also 6a to the power of 0. The only difference is that there's no bracket. So that exponent of 0 only belongs to the a. It does not belong to the 6 because it's not in a bracket. So that means the 6 stays a 6 and the a becomes a 1 because a to the power of 0 equals 1. And then 6 times 1 is just 6. Our last example, I have 4 a to the 0 b. So that power of 0 is next to the a. So the only thing that gets the power of 0 is a. So the 4 is not going to change. The b is not going to change. Only the a is going to become a 1. So I get 4 times 1 times b. 4 times 1 is 4, times b is 4b. So the final answer for that one is 4b. And that's what you need to know about the power of 0.